The Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. We're also brought to you by the NBA Playoff Survivor Challenge. We're giving away $250 cash and a $100 gift card. Sign up today exclusively on the SGPN app. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne, up in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, April the 13th, and we are here to have a look at the games that we'll cover this weekend, Saturday the 15th through to Monday night the 17th. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz.
Evening, Malcolm. How are we doing?
Aye, tremendous. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Getting back to the daily grind of 9 to 5 working again, aren't I? After a 10-day stint off over the Easter, it's been a bit grim.
Difficult that is a bit grim, Baz.
You know how it is. Well, I
do it actually. I've heard other people tell us what it's like. Hey, I was at a wedding on Tuesday afternoon working, Baz, fingers to the bone. It was terrible, really weird. I mean, that was the Tuesday after the long weekend as well. Like, I don't think any of the guests, I think all the guests were furious about it. What a really weird day to pick. Like, and they were all telling us, obviously, they then had to go to work on the Wednesday, hungover, of all things. So, yeah, that was a bit odd. Have you ever been on the dark web, Baz?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Haven't you? No.
You're supposed to keep that stuff quiet. That's the whole idea.
I know. I've heard you can get cheap train tickets.
All right, where are you going?
Well, anywhere, if I get them. I haven't got anywhere in mind. Proper cheap. You'll have
to put a call out to the listeners. I'm sure one of our degenerate listeners has definitely been on the dark web.
Probably.
So I reckon someone could private message you, that sort of thing. Like, don't get me involved.
We'll get
standing citizen.
We'll get some train. We'll do a live show on the train, Baz, if we manage that. So that's something we could be getting on with. And this week's Twitter algorithm, Baz. So for about 2 months, it's been obsessed with showing me non-league Scottish football team news and birds dressed up as Slutty Velma from Scooby-Doo. That's all I've had. Well, it's changed this week. That's gone. And it's been replaced with, do you want to have a guess? It's been replaced with 2 things. Do you want to have a punt on what's replaced it? What it thinks I'm interested in?
Air fryers.
That's not a bad guess, actually. I'd have a look at that. I'd be interested in the air fryer. You should work for Elon. No, spiders, like big scary ones, like attached to bananas and that in the shop. Or like woman found a spider in a washing machine and it bit her arm off or something. Or like people fighting. Like, like fat people in America having a scrap in like a McDonald's or something, that sort of thing. So they're the 2 things that now thinks have taken over from like Ocky Lucky Tilt.
Is that something that strikes?
It doesn't bother us one way or the other. I've no interest. It inspires no emotion in us, Baz. I'm not a big fan when they're like crawling around here. I'll come and get Betty to come and dispose of them. But like a picture of a spider near a banana, that's neither here nor there, is it?
I mean, as you know, I've been on the TikTok lately. And
I've been on the TikTok.
That's even worse for the old algorithms. Like, as soon as you watch one video from start to finish, and it's only a 30, 40-second video, so someone catches your eye, they know it's caught your eye, and then you just get bombarded with it for days and days and days. So yeah, just loads of slutty birds with their fucking clits out and stuff like that. I mean, not out, but where they
not,
camel
just not in.
Lots of camel toes lately, Malcolm.
Shit, that took a turn. We were on spiders with bananas 25 seconds ago, Baz.
And honestly, all that's happened is I've obviously taken an interest in one.
It happens.
I get bombarded with the day and night.
Well, that's what happened to a Slutty Velma off Scooby-Doo, I think. It was like Halloween.
What you then have to do is quickly scroll past them when they come up to make out like
right, okay.
even though you are. So you have to try and get that out of the algorithm by swiping past stuff that you maybe want to pay more.
Well, that is a tremendous start of the show. I've very much enjoyed that. It's better than the picks I made this week, Baz. I've written down here, I have got no idea what I'm talking about with European football. I think the weeks that I did pick some winners were just lucky. And yeah, I've got no idea. Luckily, you did okay. And you kind of saved the week for everyone by, if we go back to Monday, you went a little bit mental in the Notts County v Wrexham game, which was of no help to our American listeners because they couldn't bet on the National League. They were telling us in the Discord channel. But A, what a great game of football that was. I did watch it. It was fun. And B, tell us all about your bets, Baz.
Yeah, so we put this out as a little bit of a bonus with us only having 4 Champions League games. And we covered the Man United game. That's currently in play at the moment, 2-0 to Man United, which isn't great for my under 2.5. But I put it out because it stood out as a game. And it was a game which the Americans will probably be a bit confused by because they don't get all this lower league stuff, do they? They can't compare it with anything they've got over there. So what is it? The 5th tier of English football. But there was a lot of interest in it, wasn't there? It was live on national TV on the Monday, and lots and lots of people who would normally have no interest in that league were watching it because there was no Premier League football. It was a bank holiday after Easter, and lots of interest. So I liked it. I
saw some people tweeting out graphics that it got higher viewing figures than the Liverpool Arsenal game the day before. Now I don't know if that was wishful thinking or what, but or if they'd sort of fudged the figures. But yeah, it certainly got a lot of people.
Yeah, it had massive interest, and it piqued my interest because I thought it would have loads of goals, and turned out exactly as planned. I told people to get on the over 2.5 at 4-5. That came in. 3.5 was 2-1. Over 4.5 was 5-1, and it was 12-1 for 6 goals or more. And we were 3-2 in the 93rd minute as a penalty, and we nearly get to the very top rung of that ladder. And Ben Foster goes and saves it, doesn't he? At least a foot off the line. Should have retook it. Not that I'm bitter. But yeah, good to get up the ladder with that one. 5-1 winner for over 5 or more goals, sorry. So yeah, got us off to a good start to the week.
It did. The other thing about that game, Baz, that jumped out for me was, you've just said about the Ben Foster thing. It didn't have flow without VAR because there was loads of those things that the free kick for the first goal was a bit dodgy. The equaliser for Wrexham looked like a foul on the centre-back. There was then the penalty, which, to be fair, was a great call by the ref.
The referee, he stopped, he waited, didn't he? Just give himself a second to think it through. And then I didn't think he'd give it. Whether Notts County,
no one did
think he'd give it because nobody celebrated a penalty. But he thought it through. He thought it in his own head. He didn't need anyone else telling him. Pointed, and it was, we all seen it was a clear handball. And yeah, you're right. It flowed so much better. We almost long for those days back again, don't you? Where you can just celebrate a goal when it crosses the line and the referee points to the centre spot. You celebrate it, you enjoy it, and that's it. Done.
I'm watching Liverpool v Arsenal in the League Cup. I think it must have been last year before they had VR in the League Cup, and it was finished 5-5 or something stupid. And again, just totally and utterly different thing. But yeah, we do sound like old men shouting at clouds, so we'll leave that there. Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday. I went 0 for 4. In hindsight, looking back at the results, they all seem obvious. I don't know how I haven't gone 4 for 4. I think I got cute.
Last night, you'd gone 0 for 4, and I'm thinking to myself,
how has he done that?
I understand. Don't get me wrong. I don't think many people are taking. Not many people are taking Inter Milan and AC Milan both to win those games.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, there was ways you could have played it. I was sort of kicking myself a little bit. Not going for the unders. I did mention in the Benfica Inter game about the unders for Inter. Really, really good defensively. But the other two, I mean, they went as you would have expected. Well, I mean, no one would have necessarily put up a 3-0 Man City, but not many people were tipping the unders, were they?
Well, yeah, that was it. So I went for the unders in that one, and then I took Benfica. So obviously that went a bit pear-shaped. And then I took Chelsea to score a goal. I went both teams to score, and they never looked like scoring a goal. and I took what was the other game?
But again, that's the one where I don't know what you're thinking.
No, Napoli.
They've never looked like scoring a goal for the last month.
No, exactly. And then Napoli to win, which a lot of people could have took. But the two teams played each other 2 weeks ago, and AC Milan humped them 4-0. So the clues were there, but I wasn't even close. But yes, it's something, Baz. I couldn't even watch it because the subscription on the dodgy Fire Stick ran out, and I couldn't get it on the telly. Any comment you'd like to make about that, Baz?
I don't know anything about dodgy Fire Stick, Malcolm. I can neither confirm nor deny in a public domain the existence of a dodgy Fire Stick.
Well, I've got a mate, Barry, right? He's a right wanker, right? And he said I could use his dodgy Fire Stick login. And then went to log on to it yesterday. The subscription's expired, Baz. So I've messaged him. And he hasn't said that he's going to renew it or what. I mean, so have you got any advice? What do you think I should tell this friend?
I'd probably offer your friend a bit of a contribution towards the subscription. I would have thought it would have been a kind offer, does your friend even know you've been watching it all day, every day for the baseball for the last year?
Yeah, my friend knows. So he gave us his idea. Or
did he think he just passed it on to you for a one-time occurrence? I don't know.
He very much knows that I've been watching it all day, every day. Especially the Netflix bit down at the bottom. I've been hammering that. I did I informed the IT department to wang this friend 50 quid yesterday to contribute towards it. So I'll get the wheels in motion, Baz, and then we'll sort that out. Thanks for your advice, Baz. That was very wise. Serial's joined us. Good evening, Serial. $1 fine for some baseball chat, but it was to compliment me on a winner I've picked tonight, which is good. So yeah, if you are listening back or podcast platform or what have you, come and join us live one evening if you get a chance and say hello. Serial's asking about Osimhen for Napoli because they're a different team, aren't they? But no, the short answer is because the Fire Stick's broken, Serial. I don't know the status of Osimhen at all. Baz, do you know anything about this?
I think he's due back for the second leg. I mean, I know you're trying to get past the Champions League quickly, but we haven't had a chance to talk about him because I didn't back all losers. I did take City to win, so that was a comfortable one. I did take Benfica. I got that one wrong. Napoli, I went for the over 2.5, and it was just the prices. Napoli, they've got beat at the end of the day, but I felt they were overpriced and everything, Napoli, given the form. I know they'd played each other recently, but I was happy to sort of expect a bit more from Napoli yesterday. So, yeah, the over 2.5 was a big price. I think it went off about 6-4, 11-8. Fell short on that one. But Real Madrid, I backed Real Madrid to score 2 or more as well. So 2 from 4 for me on the UEFA. But I think
red cards, I'm blaming as well, didn't we? And Chilwell and Napoli had one as well. So that's an ill-disciplined young men have cost me there, Baz.
Yeah, so I'm happy with 2 from 4, and I think I covered myself with my Monday stuff enough to have claimed that as a winning week for me. I think Osimhen is due back for the second leg, in which case it's going to be a good one, I think. At Napoli at home, having to come out and overturn that result, it's got potential to be a decent game, that. See what happens. Obviously, we'll cover that when we get to it.
Yes.
As you see, with the YouTubers, we're getting some good numbers on the YouTube. It is new. We're just building it up. We're definitely getting more views than we've got subscribers. So if you are coming and watching it, just tick subscribe. And we're getting loads more views than we're getting likes. And I know there's more than 6 people liked it, surely, because you're coming back. There's plenty of people coming back every week and watching it. So just press the little thumbs up. It literally takes a second, and it'll make sure more people will come and see that. And similar with Spotify and Apple as usual. Give us the reviews, the likes, just to keep things ticking up. It's unfortunate this week because we did get a bit of an uptick in downloads and everything like that again after having a really good weekend last weekend. It's unfortunate that we didn't do brilliantly.
Very well.
It all started so well on the Monday and then went a bit downhill. But we are the Premier League gambling podcast.
That's just what I was going to say.
This weekend is the Premier League, so give us another chance. And we'll send some winners your way tonight.
And if you don't like the picks, you can stay for the dark web and camel toe chat because who doesn't like any of that? Yeah, Premier League back this weekend. It's a good card. It's tricky. There's lots of big games, but obviously we're getting down towards the last, eight games now, maybe. Some teams might have 9 to play, but lots at stake. So we'll get stuck into this once I've told you about Shady Rays kick off the new year with some new sunnies. Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and loads more. Shady Rays are an independent glasses company, offer a world-class product, durable frames, and extremely clear optics for your outdoor adventures. The lost and broken replacements, if you lose or break them, no questions asked, Shady Rays will replace them straight away, so you can wear them with confidence. If you don't love them, you can exchange it for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourselves. The shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. And make sure to check out the NBA Playoff Survivor Challenge, completely free to enter, and the winner gets $250 in cash and a $100 SGPN gift card exclusively on the SGPN app. Okay, so we will go to, just checking the Man United score. I think they're still 2-0. Yeah.
2-0 half time.
2-0 half time. Yeah. That might be a winner. I might get a winner before the end of the show, Bars.
That one, Malcolm?
Man United to win in under 4 goals. Yeah, so I've got a chance.
Can stay 2-0 for my liking.
Yeah, and mine. Happy with that. So Saturday lunchtime, 12:30 kickoff, which is the 7:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff, is Aston Villa against Newcastle United. Aston Villa are 13-5 plus 260. The draw is 12-5 plus 240. Newcastle are 21-20 plus 105. This is two of the form teams, maybe apart from Manchester City, 2 informed teams, absolutely flying. Villa have won 4 in a row in 6 of their last 7. Newcastle have won 5 on the spin. Surprised me when I looked at this. 5 of Villa's wins have been to 0. But I can't see them keeping Newcastle out. Unai Emery's done such a good job. And for some reason, the last few months, I've not been as... There's this Villa-Newcastle, this kind of little rivalry thing going. I think it was after they got their bed sheets out when we got relegated last time. But I'm quite happy to see Villa kind of win a few games and encroach at the top end, just because I'm sick of all the rest of them. They have been playing really, really well. Good attacking football. Newcastle obviously nearly got Unai Emery as their manager. And in fact, I think offered him the job before Eddie Howe took it. But he's done a good job. I can't see them keeping Newcastle out. I think both teams to score is a big price at 4-5. Over 2.5 is 4-5, and both teams to score is evens. So both of those are big prices. However, my pick, Baz, I'm going to take Aston Villa on the money line. I think they're far too big. The prices should be much closer together, Baz. They're both in great form. Newcastle are slightly higher in the table, but the fact that Villa are at home, I think it's sort of up there, and I think it should be squashed a bit closer. There should be plus 160 each of 2, that kind of thing. So with Newcastle being at plus 105 and Villa at plus 260, 13-5, I think you have to take Villa. Newcastle were rubbish in the first half last week. They did fix it. Fair play to Eddie Howe. They made some changes. They got away with it. But they could have been 2 or 3-0 down at half time. I think Villa will be up for it. They've got a lot of momentum. They're very confident, obviously, as are Newcastle. But they've got a big home support. The crowd will be into it. They'll want to beat Newcastle. And I just think they're too big at the end of the day, Baz. Yeah. So I might have surprised you there, Baz, but I'm going to take Aston Villa at 13-5.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to back Aston Villa, and I'm definitely not backing Aston Villa. But
I didn't say you did.
Either. I've just got another way to go with it. As you say, I mean, they're unbeaten in 7, 6 wins and a draw. And I pointed out last week they've scored now in each of the last 17 games they're up to, not being shut out by anyone in 17 league games. I picked up the same as you about those 5 clean sheets in the last 7 games. but they have come against some of the least potent attacks in the league: Bournemouth, Forest, Chelsea, Palace, Everton. I reckon if you look at the attacking numbers for each of those teams, they're probably 5 of the 6 lowest scoring teams in the league. And I think Newcastle are in similar good form, and I'd back Newcastle to score here as a minimum. I don't think Villa will get a clean sheet here. I mean, Newcastle are in similar good form. We've won 5 in a row. This is the 3rd away match on the spin. Won the last 2. And we've scored at least 2 in all of those 5 games. Only 1 clean sheet, though. So we are conceding. And we haven't had a clean sheet away from home in 5 in a row now. So I just think it was really obvious. I think that both teams to score at evens just looks a very good price for 2 teams that are scoring well. As I say, Villa haven't been kept out for a long, long time. But Newcastle have sort of found their attacking prowess again and are scoring regularly. I think both teams to score at around evens is a good price. So that'll be the pick for me. Both teams to score, Newcastle, Villa at even money.
Okay. Slick Rick agrees with me. He reckons the books are sleeping on Villa a little bit. Good evening, Rick. Nice you to join in. Next up, we go to the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday afternoon. We will start with Chelsea against Brighton. Chelsea are 13-8 plus 162. The draw is 12-5 plus 240. Brighton 17-10 plus 170. Baz, tricky this one.
We'll see. I've got a pick for it, which I thought was fairly obvious, but you just don't know with this Chelsea team there. No win in 5 games for Chelsea, including the Champions League defeat last night. And as we predicted, there's been no big inspirational boost coming from the arrival of Lampard. It has been very much a so what, which is what we predicted. I mean, there's no shame in the losing to Real Madrid last night, but the Wolves game would have been hugely disappointing for fans and the owners, expecting Lampard to come in and at least get a tune out of them in that Wolves game. Brighton were hugely unlucky last week to have ended a 7-game unbeaten run with a loss to Spurs. We talked last week about all the injustice of that and what have you. So really unlucky not to be on an 8-game unbeaten streak at the moment. Looking at the trends, 9 of the last 11 for Chelsea have seen a clean sheet one way or the other. So the both teams to score no has come up 9 of 11 Chelsea games. I'd back Brighton to score here I'd back them against most teams at the moment, the way they're playing, to at least get a goal. So then I think we'd be relying on a Brighton clean sheet for that one. And although Chelsea haven't scored in 4 games now, so not without a chance that one, I'm just not really wanting to go against Chelsea scoring a goal at home this week. And similar with the unders, 13 of the last 15 have gone under in Chelsea, under 2.5 in Chelsea games. And you can get the under at 10-11. But again, it's the Brighton side of it I don't like. Brighton are scoring an average of 2 goals a game over the last 6 games. And I just don't know if I like taking the unders in Brighton games at the moment. I can see why it might attract some people because Chelsea are so low scoring. But I think Brighton will score against them. And I think Brighton will possibly win this. I mean, I backed Chelsea to get a positive result last week. They obviously didn't against Wolves, and I can't back them again here. So it leaves me, I'm looking at Brighton on the money line at 13-8. I think it's a decent enough price for a Brighton form who are inside, in good form, sorry. And I just think Brighton will be right up for this. With the injustice of last week, they'll be right up for it all. And the other thing I think is be interesting to see if they get the odd dodgy decision in their favour this week.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting there's any kind of skullduggery or corruption or anything like that. But in a referee's mind, no one is going to want to be on the wrong end of another shit decision for Brighton after all the eyes on them last week. And it just could play into the minds of referees. I looked at Brighton to get a penalty. Actually, Brighton to score a penalty, you can get it 6-1. It just wouldn't surprise me if they get a little bit of the rub of the green this week. That was another thing I sort of factored in a little. But I think Brighton are worth it. In current form, I'd take Brighton over Chelsea at the odds. 13-8, Brighton to beat Chelsea for me.
Well, I've made the same pick, Baz, Brighton to win this game. The fact was, there was talk about how competitive Chelsea were against Madrid, but ultimately, They were nowhere near that level. They can't score. And Frank Lampard, he's beginning to look more hapless by the day. Like, he talks a right lot of bollocks. He hasn't said a single inspiring thing. This baffles me, because he's probably quite an intelligent fella. And if the options of the things you've got to say, pre-plan something a bit more inspiring than what you've been coming out with. It's junk, like. So what happened with Brighton last week was I took them away at Spurs. Similar price, similar game. They were absolutely robbed, but there was nothing wrong with the process that made me pick them. I should have won. Therefore, all of that stands. Nothing's changed. Leaving me with no option but to take Brighton again, 17-10. So yeah, Brighton to win for me. Right, next up, 3. What?
Team ride.
Everton against Fulham. Everton are +105, 21-20. Draw is 12-5, +240. Fulham are 14-5, +280. This is the system play, Baz. We've talked about it. Everton at home to a dog shit team. That's it. That's all you need to know. They beat Arsenal, who aren't dog shit. They beat Brentford. They came back against Spurs with 10 men. They've been poor away from home. They can't score. They haven't really been trying away from home because they're targeting these games that they're going to win 1-0 with a set piece, or Alex Iwobi's going to sclee one in with Shin Endel. When Fulham are on the slide, they were very poor against West Ham last week. I expected regression off them. I talked about it since January, but it's actually hit a little bit later than I anticipated, but now it's here. And this could be Fulham at the end of the season. Now they might not pick up many more points. Mitrovic has gone for ages as well. Dead easy bars. Everton, I wouldn't mind it being a bit of a bigger price. Like, there might be some bigger prices kicking around if you have a look. But yeah, 21-20, +105 for Everton win for me, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a very similar short brief on this one. 5 defeats in a row for Fulham now, and the wheels are definitely falling off a bit for them. And I've started looking at Everton much in the way I looked at Forest for a while in terms of home form and away form, just as you've mentioned. And at home, Everton are 3 wins from the last 5, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Under Dyche, they've lost once at home. All 3 of the wins they've had have been by a 1-0 scoreline. And I think they'll scrape another 1-0 win here. It's not going to be pretty. It never is with Everton at the moment. They do struggle to score. But they'll beat this Fulham side. 21-20 for Everton is the pick for me as well. So another team ride. But I wouldn't put anyone off looking at the 1-0. As I say, the 3 wins they've had under Dyche have been by that 1-0 margin. 6-1, +600 for the 1-0 as well.
Well, we're all synced up so far, Baz. Sit up straight, Baz. Straighten your tie, etc. Because Kramer's watching. The boss is in the chat, everyone. Shit.
Man's in the room.
Sing the company anthem and all that. Cracking on with the 3 o'clocks on Saturday. Southampton will take on Crystal Palace. Southampton 9-5, +180. The draw is 21-10, +210. Crystal Palace are 17-10, +170. You somehow landed Palace last week. I'm still not sure what happened to that, Baz. So I'll throw Palace back to you, and you can tell us what they're going to do this week.
Yeah, I've got Palace right the last 2 weeks, Malcolm. I put them out as my underdog of the week last week. I can't remember the price now, 13-5, I think, +260. And I'm sure I took them the week before against Leicester as well. I'll probably go with them again here. Southampton without a win in 5 now. They're rooted to the bottom of the league, 4 points from safety. And if that gap opens up anymore, I think Southampton aren't getting out of it. They're heading for the championship. In the last 8 games for Southampton, they've only scored 6 goals, and 3 of those come in that freak game against Spurs, which was definitely a bit of an outlier. So the other 7 of those 8 games, they've only managed 3 goals. Palace aren't bad defensively. I think Southampton will struggle to get on the score sheet here. And despite our mocking of the Hodgson appointment for Palace, they have had a bit of a bounce, 2 wins in a row. But as I said after Vieira went, and before that first game of Hodgson, I think those wins would have come anyway. I don't think they needed to sack Vieira. They sacked him after a tricky run of games. I said after the World Cup, Palace are going to struggle over the next 8 to 10 games. They had a horrible run of games. And that turned out to be the case. They never won a single one of them. But I did say after Vieira went, things turned round. They've beat Leicester. They've beat Leeds. And the next 4, they've got Southampton, Forest, Everton, Wolves. West Ham after that. They had the games. They were never going to get relegated. They were always going to get away from the bottom three. I don't think they needed to make a change. But the board and the fans will be happy. They made a change, brought in Hodgson. They've won 2 games, and they're probably feeling a little bit safe now. So I'll take them to win again. I don't mind Palace. I think, for me, I've said for a few weeks that the fixtures have turned in their favour. Backed them the last 2 weeks. Back them again. It's a good price for me. 17-10 plus 170. Palace on the money line. No need to insure it with draw no bet or double chance. Let's just take Palace.
Oh, you having a stand-up way this time. Well done. I knew you'd take Palace, and why wouldn't you? That's one of those things. If they're paying off for you, just keep going with it. Like Southampton had a free hit last week against Manchester City. Didn't make anything of it, which was fair enough. And I've got no idea what to make of that Palace game last week. For 44 minutes, it was second best. They were 1-0 down and never looked like scoring. Then they get a horrible goal on half-time. In the second half, wallop, they absolutely battered him, chance after chance. And that was without Wilf as well. That was the game that I said they couldn't win. And Elise looked sharp. Mateta came on and scored a goal. So, yeah, they've been full of goals and they've been full of attacking intent. Southampton are buggered. I think you're absolutely right. They never win, Baz. That's a huge problem, big old problem. However, it's really hard in this league to win 3 games in a row, unless you're one of the top 4 or 5 teams. It almost never, ever happens. Like, Palace have won. I mean, they've only won about 7 all season.
Is this your moment, Malcolm? Is this the moment this week where you tell me something definitely can't happen?
Well, Palace can't win, Baz. Because
the listeners know, Malcolm. That's the cue.
No, I wasn't actually going to say that.
As soon as Malcolm gives out 100% guarantee, we all know what to do.
You've egged me on into saying that, Baz, because that's not actually what I was going to say at all. So I retract that remark. However, this is going to be a draw. It's going to finish 1-1 at 21-10, plus 210. Southampton beat a bit. They're quite funky at home. They're scrappy. They got a draw against Tottenham last time. And like I say, 3 games in a row to win, man. It's a big ask that for Palace, because regardless of how well they played, that's still not a very good team. So yeah, I'll happily take the draw. I will move on and tell you about one of our favourite sponsors here on the Premier League Gambling Podcast. Can you tell I'm filling till this page loads up? It's all the way down here. That's the problem. It's all been condensed down the bottom of the page. Right, here we go.
He's listening.
I'll do. He might have gone now. We're down to 1, so we'll have to see. But anyway, if it is Ryan, listen to this about Underdog Fantasy. It's fascinating. Underdog Fantasy is a great place to get down on fantasy and player props all year long. Underdog Fantasy has your favourite NBA, NHL and MLB daily games. Plus, they're already doing best ball drafts for the 2023 NFL season. Head to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Next up, still at 3 o'clock, is Tottenham against Bournemouth. Tottenham are 9-20, minus 222. The draw's at 7-2, plus 350. And Bournemouth are 13-2, plus 650. This is the kind of game that Spurs will be terrible and win 2-0 with a penalty. That's what I've wrote here. However, I'm then going to walk all of that back and bet something else. They should be 3 without a win after draws against Everton and Southampton, 2 bad results, and then were second best last week. But, as we've already talked about, were gifted a win by the officials. Bournemouth have won 3 and lost 3 of their last 6, more than giving themselves a chance to stop up. Bournemouth nearly pulled it off against Arsenal a few weeks ago. They were 2-0 up, got ruled over 3-2 late doors. They won at Leicester. And this is about time Spurs got their comeuppance. They're still not very good. I'm not buying it. I'm going to take Bournemouth, Baz, 13-2 plus 650.
Bold. I like it.
Bold. Yeah, baby.
I thought initially, same as you, sort of Spurs home form's all right. They do get a couple of goals on in the home games, but it's just hard to back Spurs at the moment. So I'd looked. My initial thought was the over 2.5. I looked particularly the Spurs form lately 2-1, 1-1, 3-3, 3-1 in the last 4 games. Both teams to score has hit every one of them. The over 2.5s hit 3 out of the 4. They're not keeping clean sheets, but they are still scoring plenty of goals. They've scored 9 in those last 4 games. So I think goals was where I was going to go. The over 2.5 was a bit short, 4-6. This show is not for putting out 4-6 one of the picks, are we? We're trying to keep it a bit higher than that. So I've went with both teams to score.
Okay.
And as I say, I think Bournemouth are giving a bit of a fight in these recent games. Spurs low on confidence. The last 4 games have all hit the both teams to score for Spurs. And Bournemouth have only been shut out, I think, twice in the last 9 games. So they are scoring often enough. I'll take them to get on the score sheet here and take the both teams to score at 4-5, minus 125. So that's a pick for me. Spurs v Bournemouth, both teams to score at 4-5.
Okay, I like that, Baz. The final 3 o'clock kickoff is Wolves against Brentford. Wolves are 14-9 plus 155. That's correct, yeah. The draw's 21-10, and Brentford are out there at 2-1. Baz, Wolves, it's landed on you. Yes. You've got your system play. Here we go. Come on, Baz. He loves it.
Go. Right. We've got Wolves at home. What did they do last time at home, Malcolm?
Won.
So what happens this time?
Lose.
Simple.
Hey, there we go. Next.
It's the more you look at this form, it's ridiculous. A good 1-0 win against Chelsea last week, which broke a 3-game winless streak for them. I'm still not convinced by this Wolves side. I never have been really. They struggle to beat Forest. They failed to beat Forest, failed to beat Leeds, and then go and beat Chelsea and they go and beat Spurs. And so I've mentioned before about this home form. How many are we up to now, Malcolm? I've lost count. Wolves at home, they win 1, they lose 1. Win, lose.
13, win. You told me.
13 in a row now. I think that's right. I think that's what I had written down. I'm not looking at my notes at the moment. 13 in a row, Wolves home games have gone win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So yeah, they did win against Chelsea. They're back at home this week. The obvious play is the lose. It's bizarre when you see that in amongst that run of form, in the last 5, they beat Chelsea, Spurs and Liverpool at home. And then they lost the home games to Leeds and Bournemouth.
Yep.
So they're winning the games where you think, at home you'll fancy them to win. You'd fancy them to get beat because they're playing decent sides. And then the games where you think they should be winning, it goes the opposite way. So I'm going to stick with it because I think I point this form out every single time Wolves are at home. And every time I fade it and go the opposite way because I think, they're playing Chelsea. Chelsea will get something here. Or they're playing Spurs. I took Spurs. I can't do it anymore. And Brentford are good enough for me. Despite the fact it's no win in 4 for Brentford, they have had a tough run. They played Newcastle, Man United and Brighton in the last 3. I actually thought Brentford played really well against us for 45 minutes last week. They played a very similar style to Newcastle, high intensity, pressing high up the field, knocked Newcastle off their stride a little bit. And I like Brentford to bounce back here. And as I say, having faded this Wolves home trend for far too long, I'm going to stick with it here. Brentford to win, 21-10, plus 210. That's the pick for me. Brentford will win this one at a decent price, just over 2-1.
Well, I had made a different pick, Baz. However, if you can say, this is my notes and this is my pen. Scribbling all that out is what I'm doing, Baz. And I'm going to play the system at 2-1. Yeah, of course. Why the hell wouldn't we? And you're right, Brentford did do okay against us last week. So yeah, let's just go for it. Brentford at 2-1. I kicked my slippers off a couple of minutes ago in a fit of pique. And now, that's what I was just, if you're wondering why looked like I was being attacked under the table by a small family of otters or something, I was actually reaching for my slippers because my feet went a bit chilly there. But 5:30, tea time kickoff, crumpets, tea cakes and that. 12:30 Eastern time between Manchester City and Leicester City. Manchester City are 4-25, minus 625. The draw is plus 750, which is 15-2. Leicester City are 12-1. Actually, Leicester City have pushed out 14-1 since I handicapped this afternoon. So, same old stuff applies. Manchester City. Man City are absolutely flames at the minute. I made the par result here, like the standard result, 4-0. You don't have to add anything to Man City. The only thing you could caveat Man City on here is, will they make a few changes with the second leg at Munich coming up? But even if they do, like, what difference does it make, really? All right, you put Alvarez for Haaland in, but then Mahrez will probably get a game. But it doesn't really stop them going out and turning any other Premier League team over. Leicester City have appointed Dean Smith. Pudding. Yeah, you see, there you go. That's the reaction that deserves, Baz. The first word I've written down is pudding. Like, what an underwhelming, dour, boring appointment. I mean, what is that meant to achieve? What's he done in the past, Baz, to make you think that he's going to garner any response out of these young men? He's taken John Terry with him, who's a thoroughly unpleasant person, and then Craig Shakespeare. Do you know what Craig Shakespeare's famous for, Baz?
No.
And you'll notice this now.
Not for writing books.
No, that's Bill, wasn't it? But Craig Shakespeare always has a ball under each arm, like, but right up here. Not here, up here, like that. Yeah. You see him from now. You'll see it all the time now, Baz. Now I pointed it out. He'll be on the training pitch, and he's got a ball under his arm, right up there. No idea why. But I just thought, what an awful, horrible appointment. Like, it did make me laugh. Just the response that you had was the response I had. So Man City might ease off, but I don't think it matters here. Manchester City minus 2.5 goals is 21-10 plus 110. Have I got that right?
I think that's about right.
No, 11. It's 11. It's not 21-10. Sorry, 11-10 plus 110. Like I said, I think 4-0 is part of the course. If Leicester get one, we can go 4-1. But yeah, Man City to win by 3 or 4, even more. I just don't get Leicester. They were in a bad position, and I think they've made it worse. That result last week against Bournemouth is an absolute minger. Yeah, so give me Man City minus 2.5 goals, 11-10, Baz.
I had a feeling you'd go for that, to be honest. I did look.
Yeah. It's difficult because there's not many ways you can go, is there?
Yeah, we're all looking in the same pool of bets on where every week with City at the moment in their current form, where they've won 9 in a row now. I mean, my go-to bet for City of late has just been taking them to score 3 or more goals in a game. They've scored 3 or more in each of their last 5 games, but the bookies are onto it. Looked at it straight away. That was the thing that, for every game this week, what I did actually, normally I sort of have a look at everything, make me notes, and then come up with a pick. This week I've done it the other way around. I looked at every bet, every game, and just went with my instinct. What do I think? And sort of wrote down a bet for every game, and then went back, looked at the odds, and seen if I had to strike it out. So on this one, I put City over 2.5. Looked at the odds and thought we can't be playing that on this show. 8-13 for City to score 3 or more. It's very short this week, but it's no surprise. I mean, they've scored 24 in the last 5 games. Leicester haven't kept a clean sheet in the league now since before the World Cup, and it doesn't look to be getting any better for them here. 9 without a win now in all competitions for them. 8 losses in those 9 games as well. So just the 1 point. Well, I mean, that includes some cup games, a defeat against Blackburn, for example. So same as you, I looked at the handicap and thought, well, we're going to have to go with minus 2.5 if you want to take the handicap. So I did look at that. But I decided to go the other way. I went with match goals. So where I'd normally take City to score 3 or more, rather than go City scoring 4, I thought I'll just go over 3.5 in the match. It's at 10-11. I mean, Leicester might get on the score sheet and contribute, but even if they don't, I think City can easily hit the 4 goals themselves in their current form. I mean, even Chelsea put 3 past this Leicester team. I don't think they've scored a goal since Chelsea. 5 of the last 8 league games for City have seen at least 4 goals. That's good enough for me at around even money. So yeah, City v Leicester over 3.5 goals at 10-11 for me.
Okie doke. Slick Rick's telling us there's been quite a lot of line movement. He reckons on that price was.
I think he's saying there will be some line movement, isn't he? He's saying it was. He's saying it by Saturday it'll be shorter, won't it?
Yeah, but if it was 135 yesterday and it's plus 110 now, something like that. So It's heading that direction.
All right, you're saying it's plus 110 now. Sorry,
Yeah. Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. West Ham against Arsenal. West Ham 5-1. The draw 16-5 plus 320. Arsenal are 11-20 minus 181. Baz, Arsenal here in the footsteps of Man City. Can they get a win on Sunday?
Possibly. I backed West Ham last week when they couldn't possibly win, and they did win at a decent price, 6-4. I would, if you came up with that quote this week, I'd agree. I don't think West Ham can win this week. I won't be backing them here. It's 2 wins in the last 3, but they have come against Fulham and Southampton, 2 of the sort of least informed sides in the league. In games against top 6 sides recently, West Ham, they failed to beat Newcastle twice, failed to beat Man United, Spurs, Brighton, all quite recently. And I'm not giving them a chance here. I mean, Arsenal will obviously be disappointed. I didn't see out the game with Liverpool, having gone 2 up early on. But I'll take them a bounce back. Playing really good attacking football for a long time now. I don't think it should be too down about the draw at Anfield. Not many teams are going to Anfield and getting anything this season. I think they'll get back in the goals. They've scored at least 2 goals in the last 6 league games, and in 5 of the last 6, they've scored 3 or more. Same as the Man City one, though. My initial thought here, with Arsenal being away, was that I might get a decent price about Arsenal to score 2 or more. That was probably a little bit naive. Again, it's a bit short at 8-13. And much in the same way as the price for City to score 3 or more was too short, where I went for the over 3.5 there. I'm going to do a similar thing here. I'm going to go for over 2.5 match goals at 4-5, with the same thing in mind. West Ham might contribute a goal, but if they don't, I'd be fairly confident Arsenal can go and hit the 3 themselves, given that they've done that in 5 of the last 6. I mean, 6 in a row, Arsenal games now have gone over 2.5 and 8 of the last 9. So I think 4-5 is a very fair price. And as I say, I'm not too worried. If West Ham can't contribute, I feel confident enough that Arsenal can do the job for me anyway. So that's the play. West Ham v Arsenal, over 2.5, match goals at 4-5.
We'll have to do that thing, Baz, where like on countdown, if you've got the same answer as the other bloke, you have to lean across the desk and show him, because I've got the exact same pick here, so I don't need to double up on anything you said. For the same reasons, the 3-0's in play. West Ham look quite dangerous against us, against Newcastle in parts, so could get a goal, but if they don't, I think Arsenal could get 3. The only thing I disagree with, Baz, I think Arsenal should absolutely be kicking themselves after blobbing a 2-0 lead last week. They were 2-0 up and in complete and utter control. If you want to win a championship, go and do it, man. Honestly, I thought that was terrible. I think they might drop their arse. I very, very nearly, until I started looking at it, I came into this game wanting to pick West Ham. And then I got away from it. I had a word with myself, looked at the numbers and got away and came down on this pick. But I think Arsenal should absolutely be kicking themselves, having blobbed that last week. I thought that was appalling. Next up, is the Sunday afternoon game, 4:30 kickoff, 11:30 Eastern Time. Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Nottingham Forest 5-1. The draw 3-1. Manchester United 11-18, minus 175. Bit boring this, really, the handicap. I think Forest have absolutely lost it. Their unhinged transfer policy has caught up with them. I don't know what you can make of Forest. You've pointed this out quite a while ago, Baz, that they were on the slippery slope. We did mention in last Sunday's show that John Joe's been getting pelters. Brennan Johnson was getting stick off the fans. His dad was over there sticking up for him. Just a bit weird, but yeah, I think they fucked it. This Man United tonight are still, what's the score? Still 2-0, 67 minutes, so might be on for a winner, but it's going to be a slow burner, this, because they'll make a few changes. Casemiro will be back out. Rashford's missing. They instantly got better tonight, scoring 2 early goals in the absence of Rashford, holding them back. I really upset a 10-year-old kid at that wedding on Tuesday. His dad was a Newcastle fan. His kid was a Man United fan. That tells you everything you need to know about the family, exactly. So I told this kid Rashford was shit. I thought he was going to cry. Kid was about 10 years old. He had a proper wobbly lip on, like. So that made us laugh. Slow burner. Man United will win. Price is too short for me to give out. It'll probably be 2-0, but they won't and can't run the score up. So I'm going to take this exact same bet that is 22 minutes away from cashing for me tonight. Manchester United and under 4 goals is 11-8 plus 137, Baz.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I agree. I mean, I've wrote down here, I think Forest are toast. They're done. Stick a fork in them. They are done. 9 without a win, 6 losses, 3 draws. They've been managing to chip in with a goal in plenty of games. They've only been shut out once in the last 6. But for me, why they are done is because they're just coming out of a really good run of games. And they haven't managed to pick a win up from anyone. I mean, Villa, decent side. But before that, they had Leeds away, Wolves and Newcastle at home. The home form had been keeping them going, and that's fell away. They failed to beat Everton, West Ham, Fulham. A decent run of games there where there's plenty of ones where if they were going to stay up, you've got to win some of those, and they haven't. And now the fixtures turn for them. They've got Man United this week, followed by Liverpool, Brighton and Brentford in the next 4. And in current form, I can't see them winning any of those. I mean, what's the Liverpool? I'm trying to think. Are they playing Liverpool? They're at Anfield as well against Liverpool. If they were at home, they might have got something against Liverpool, but they've already played them at home and beat them this season, haven't they? Jay, I think they're garbage. They're going to struggle from here on in, and they're going to get relegated. That'll please the locals round my way.
Putting your windows so bad.
To be fair, I know a few of my my local Nottinghamshire friends who do occasionally listen to the show, and I think all of them are Notts County fans. So
okay,
they'll be fine with it. I think for me, I look at the performance against Everton last night for Man United. Last week, where they won 2-0. But could have easily been more, and that gives me a bit more confidence in backing them. Where lately both of us have said we've felt a little bit sort of unable to back them in things like handicaps and team goals and stuff like that. The Everton game was a good performance, and look at Forest form. They've conceded at least 2 in 5 of the last 6 games. So that was my first thought: was Man United to score 2 or more. Again, I've wrote all of these picks down before looking at any of the prices. And again,
good
it's a
system,
bit too
bud.
Short. It's 4-6. I can't see anything but a Man United win here. So the play for me was the Asian handicap, where I can get plus 110, 11-10 for Man United -1. And I think they'll win by 2 or more, even without Rashford. If you look, these teams have played each other 3 times this season because they had a semi-final in the League Cup, 2 legs. So they've played 3 times this season. The results, 2-0, 3-0, 3-0. I'm happy for it to be the same again. Asian handicap, Man United -1. So if Man United need to win by 2 or more, if they win by 1 only, we get a push. Man United on the handicap. -1, 11-10.
Okay. Captain Sano's
cow
joined in and cheered. Is that there you go. Is that a big cow behind you, Baz?
Yeah, we call it the nosy cow because it's
okay.
very inquisitive. Helen, my other half, done this. Is it a painting? It's not a painting. It's like a pastel drawing.
Is it one of those things where they go out and drink loads of prosecco and paint stuff?
No, I should just like sitting in the house and drawing and painting and stuff. So it was just a little bit of a.
All the women around here are very fond of that. They go to these painting classes, like they go to the pub and get lashed up and come home with some dog shit picture that you're meant to be impressed with.
Sounds like a cover story for.
Sounds like a cover story of having an affair. That's netball. Oh shit! Monday night. What a weird game this is. 8:00 kickoff on Monday, 3 p.m. Leeds against Liverpool. Leeds are Burlington Bertie, 100-30 plus 333. The draw is 16-5 plus 320. Liverpool 13-18 -138. Baz, any idea on this?
No, I'm going to hand over to you on this one because I haven't got any notes for it. I thought initially we would cover this on this Sunday night show with a big Monday game. So I left it out So give me a minute. You crack on, and I'll tell you. I have actually, funnily enough, my parlay for this week includes the Liverpool game. So I have picked something.
Yeah, so you have got a pick then. Well, just tell us about that.
It's not an outright pick, though.
Okay. The problem I've got with this is the first thing I've written down is can't bet Liverpool. However, the second thing I've written down is can't bet Leeds. So that then instantly presented a bit of a problem, Baz. I've no idea what Leeds are up to. I've never had any idea. No one's got any idea what Leeds are up to. Leeds don't know what Leeds are up to. Last week was an example in their weirdness. Liverpool, who again, just throw your hands up in the air like they were 2-0 down and poor last week. They then came back against Arsenal, played okay. We keep saying the home wins give you a little bit of hope, and then they go away from home and that dog shit again. So I completely copped out of this, Baz, and I went to the cards market because these two traditionally don't like each other. There's a little geographical rivalry there. They just jump over the Pennines, little half an hour over the hills. Monday night, under the lights, Leeds big scrapping for everything. The card line is 3.5, which I was delighted to see, but then it's juiced heavily, which I wasn't delighted to see. It's 11-18 over the 3.5. However, I'm going to crack out the ladder, Baz. We can go up there. 4 cards exactly is even money, plus 100. So we get a push on 4. I did like both teams to get 2 cards each at 5-4. That's plus 120. But let's just get up that card, and we get 5, 6, 7 cards, and we'll cash that all the way up to the top. Just a good Monday night scrap. We'll watch some kick shit out of each other. Give me the cards, Baz. Is that long enough for you to make a better pick?
I've got a pick, yeah. I'm in.
Go on then.
I'm in here. Whilst we're looking at that, Slick Rick's chucking his team total parlay out. He's not far off where I've gone with mine at the end of the show, so we'll come to that in a little bit. I tell you what I'm going to do here, Malcolm. I looked at, I had made a selection, but they were too short. Looked at over 2.45 goals. That was 4-7. And I looked at the both teams to score, which was also a 4-7. I'm looking now, actually, I think both of those have come in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is look at the first half bets, and I'm going to go for first half goals over 1.5 at 5-4 plus 125. So not Liverpool goals or team goals or anything. Looking at the Leeds, recent scores for Leeds. This is their last 5 games: 5-1, 2-1, 4-1, 4-2, 2-2. 3 of those 5, there was 2 goals in the first half. Leeds Crystal Palace, 2 goals. Leeds Forest, there was 3 first half goals. The Arsenal game didn't come in. But they also had Leeds v Brighton, where there was 2 goals in the first half. So it's coming up often enough there. And similar, Liverpool, obviously, last week against Arsenal, there was a couple in the first half. The Man City game, that came in as well. I think first half goals. I think there will be goals in here, but it's difficult. The 2.5 or the both teams to score look obvious players, and they're just a bit too short. So I'm just going to chance it a little bit on this first half being a little bit open, a little bit lively. So yeah, the pick for me: Leeds v Liverpool, 2 or more first half goals at 5-4 plus 125.
Okie doke. Right then, a couple of minutes left, Baz, to throw out our exotic stuff. Right, what's the situation with these locks? Because we put one out by accident last week. Moonaf then had a whinge about it in the Discord channel, I think. And I've picked one, so I'm going to throw it out. My lock, Baz, is the over 2.5 goals in the West Ham Arsenal game. I like that a lot. For my dog, I've got 2 here. One's a bit more sensible and one's a little bit more mad. Actually, Captain Zeno was talking about one. Aston Villa at 13-5 to beat Newcastle. It's too big a price. This could easily go any of 3 ways. However, Villa at too big a price for the home win with those 3 outcomes. And Bournemouth at 13-2 plus 650 to turn Tottenham over. If you want to double them 2 up, 25-1. My parlay is right off the ladies' menu, Baz. This is pathetic. It barely counts as a parlay. It's Manchester United to win. Arsenal team total over 1.5 and over 3.5 cards in that Leeds Liverpool game. That comes out at just over 3.2-1, plus 321. so it's not very flashy at all. And my goal scorer, I'm going to go back to the Arsenal. Martinelli was great in the first half last week. The presence of Gabriel Jesus just opens stuff up a little bit more for Martinelli. He looks really sharp. He's 2-1 to score at any time away at West Ham. So they're going to be my 4 plays. Baz?
Yeah, he's 2-1 because Trossard's going to start this week.
Well, maybe.
Check your team news before that one. My parlay is very similar, a little bit off the ladies' menu this week. But we'll come to that in a second. So if we are going locks, which we might as well, because we put our lock out last week and we both hit them. Just a reminder, I hit my lock, my underdog, my treble, and my scorer last week. So let's see where we go this week. Man City versus Leicester, over 3.5 goals is my lock at 10-11. The underdog is Brentford at 21-10. So Brentford to beat Wolves away, plus 210. And the anytime scorer for me, I'm going to go with Ivan Toney. Again, because I fancy Brentford in that game. So I'll take Toney to score anytime. He's also at
it's about the 8th time you've taken Ivan Toney. You pick him every week.
He's hit a few times, though, hasn't he? Well, I didn't last week. If I had picked him last week, it would have hit again.
Why don't you marry him?
If a player scores more than one every other game, then I'll take him at 2-1.
All right.
And that's what he generally does at the moment. So, yeah, no problem with that. You do you, and I'll do me. Right? So, yeah, Toney anytime scorer at just over 2-1. Brentford's the underdog, 21-10. Man City Leicester is the lock, over 3.5 in that game at 10-11. And finishing off with a parlay, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United, all to score 2 or more. It comes in around 7-2, so very similar price to yours. A little shorter than I'd usually go for. I mean, we hit a 7.5-1 last week, but it just looks fairly safe. I mean, nothing's safe when Liverpool are away from home, is it? Let's be honest. But Arsenal and Man United, I'd be very surprised if they can't hit a couple. So then I'm sort of leaning on Liverpool in the Monday night game.
Yeah, it gets you a Monday night sweat bars, doesn't it? If nothing else.
We've got that's a 3-day parlay for you there as well. We've got the Saturday, Sunday, Monday covered.
I do like the sound of the regular feature being called the 3-day parlay because it rhymes and it's good to see in our accent as well. It's scans nicely.
Just on the subject of parlays, as I say, Slick Rick did put his out a little bit earlier, and he's gone team totals. He got on mine last week, so he was a success there. He's gone Man United and Arsenal over 1.5, same as me, but he's gone with City to score 3 or more as his third play, where I've gone Liverpool to score 2 or more. But as always, good to see some interaction and people putting their picks in there. I had this on TikTok. I put some picks out the other week. I can't remember what the games were, and someone replied before the game saying, "You're an idiot. You've already lost."
Wasn't me, Baz.
It said something like, "You've already lost." So I replied quite nicely, saying, "Which ones do you think lose?" Question mark. And he didn't reply until the 85th minute, when out of the 4 picks, he highlighted the reasons why 2 of them wouldn't win. So I had 2 winners out of 4. And he replied with 5 minutes to go in the game and said, "Well, you should never have backed this because blah, blah, blah." I just fucking blocked him straight. I thought, I'm not getting into this.
You should have challenged him to put one out like pre-game next week rather than...
I give him every opportunity pre-game to say, "What don't you fancy?" Because that's fine. I don't mind people not liking me.
Yeah, of course,
That's fine. That's what it's all about. I'm not claiming everything hits. But it's always, if you're going to try and tell me the shit, then at least tell me why and what you would go for.
Yeah.
Don't start coming back 95 minutes into a game saying, "I told you so." You haven't been prepared to nail your colours to any mast. So, yeah, that was funny. I need to learn that TikTok. I need to learn to, you've got to be a bit thick-skinned because there's loads of people that just want to come out and pan you for anything. Just...
Well, Baz, the amount of MLB show reviews that are getting that are panning the bloke with the accent at the minute.
The bloke from London.
Yeah, someone knocked a star off because of my accent the other day. So don't worry about it, Baz. The skin gets thicker as you go. So, okay, solid hour and 5 minutes, Baz. If you are interested in the baseball. I'll be back on air in 17 minutes. Full of winners as well. Well, full of winners, you know, the odd winner. Thanks everyone for listening, though. Good luck with all your picks this weekend. We'll be back on Sunday night, I reckon, Baz.
Yeah.
Usual time, possibly 8:30, to go through all the games, and then we've got loads of stuff going on next week. So look forward to that. Baz, any final words?
No, nothing. Just the same thing. If you're listening and you've enjoyed it, do give us a like, rate, review, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. And if you're on YouTube, just subscribe and press the thumbs up. It'll take you about 5 seconds to do so, and it will be greatly appreciated.
Okay, you get back to your Camel Tour videos. Good luck with all your bets. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.